So what the heck is lymphatic drainage? So our lymphatic system is part of our body's waste removal system. It actually helps process out bad bacteria, viruses, toxins. It is a system that covers our entire body, and our lymph system moves lymph, which is moving this bacteria, viruses, to lymph nodes. At the lymph nodes, this is where we have white blood cells that get to work killing that bad bacteria and viruses. So this means that having that drainage system, that detox system working in a healthy order is very important for keeping away bad bacteria, virus, keeping our skin healthy and our bodies healthy as well. Sometimes our lymphatic system can slow down. Something that can cause this is an injury. An injury in the body can create a blockage that can keep flowing from happening, but it can also happen from stagnation, not enough exercise. It can also be very slowed down by dehydration. If you don't have enough water and hydration in your body, your lymph gets thicker and it is not able to efficiently move around in your body. So those are some key ways you can easily speed it up. Is start getting some exercise. Even just a 20-minute brisk walk can really help boost your lymphatic system. Once a day, a 20-minute brisk walk. Start there. That's a great place to start. And make sure you're drinking enough water. Staying hydrated. Avoid over drinking alcohol because that causes dehydration. Those are all important things for your lymphatic system. We can also help move along our lymphatic system. So a component to your lymphatic system is fascia. So fascia is all of these little connected tissues that are really holding everything together. It's holding your skin to your bones, and all of your kind of fat and tissues is all being held together by this fascia. But fascia can get tense and balled up, especially when you get an injury. Part of that injury is this fascia gets all pinned up and can create pain. A lot of people with neck pain find that fascia release is really helpful. So this is not only moving along lymph in our system, we're also going to be loosening up that fascia that keeps everything moving, keeps things from being all hard and tightened up and crispy. We're just gonna loosen everything up. And we're gonna do this in an acne safe way. So if you have very inflamed acne that is painful to the touch, I'm going to give you modifications to this treatment. There are some things that you don't want to do if you have very inflamed, grade 3 or 4, which is fairly severe acne that is painful to the touch. When you touch your pimples, they hurt. I'm going to give you some modifications. If you have non-inflamed acne, you can do this treatment without any modifications. If you just have 1 or 2 pimples here and there, you're just going to want to avoid putting direct pressure right over that pimple because you don't want to be spreading that bacteria. So kind of be aware of those things when we're doing this treatment. But for the most part, this treatment is really great for those who do get breakouts, especially hormonal acne. We've been talking about hormonal acne a lot. I've done 2 separate hormonal acne videos in the last month. And the lymphatic system also helps detox excess hormones and negative hormones in the skin. So, boom, hormonal acne, those excessive hormones that are causing that increase in androgen hormones, which causes an increase in sebum production. We can help balance that out, remove those excess hormones by making sure our lymphatic system is healthy and moving in the way that it should be moving. For my tool, I am going to be using an ANMA. What I like about the ANMA is it has these fingers, as we like to call them, on this side, which is really helpful for that fascia release that we were talking about. Those are those little crispy fascia that we want to soften and make our lymph be able to move easier. The other part of the tool that I'm using is the handle. And a lot of people overlook the handle. They just use this part, but the handle is one of my favorite parts of this device because the handle is like your gua sha, your scraping tool. This is what is going to help do that scraping motion to move lymph. So I'm going to be using the fingers and the handle. If you don't have something like this at home and you want to do this treatment today, you can use your hands. Absolutely. Just use your hands kind of mimicking these motions. So when we're doing the fascia movements, you would use your knuckles. And then when we're doing scraping movements, you would use the sides of your hand. So you can kind of use your hand like this to do like a scraping movement. You can also use the tops of your fingers as well. Sometimes this can be uncomfortable, especially if you have issues with your bones, your hands. That's why the Anma can be really helpful. You don't have to use that pressure on your fingers, but the option is always there to just use your hands. If you have a more traditional gua sha at home, again, you can totally use that too. Traditional gua shas don't really have these teeth. Some of them do actually, but most don't have these little teeth. So in that case, you would just be using the edge of your gua sha, and remember that you're not pressing hard. You're just using very light pressure. We're not digging into the muscle. We are gently moving the lymph, which is just under your skin. So know that you don't have to use a lot of pressure. So let's get started. So we covered tools, things that you can use to do this treatment, but you'll need something to create slip. Without slip, you're not really, you can actually this tool is quite slippery. You can get a little bit of slip with this tool, but there's a little bit of tugging and discomfort. So my personal favorite way to add slip to the skin is using my cleansing oil. The Orgade cleansing oil is the one I'm using today. This is an acne-safe cleansing oil. I like it because when you add water, it sudsses up and it rinses completely clean. So you're not left with any oily residue, and it's not difficult to remove after your treatment. You can use any acne-safe oil as long as it's giving you that slip that you need to glide across the skin without any harsh tugging or having to really dig into the skin. So that's why my preference is the cleansing oil. Oftentimes I actually do this treatment during my first cleanse in the evening. It's just a nice way to tie my quick lymphatic drainage routine into my cleansing routine. So love this one. If you like the Michelle Corley cleansing oil, that one also works well for this as well. So first things first, I'm putting on my lovely Tassie. I'm about to look very cute. Get this on here. This one's kind of loosened up. Someone was wearing this who had more hair than me. Okay. I'm gonna tuck all my hair in so that you guys can have a clear view of what I'm doing. So step one is we want to start getting the lymph flowing. If we have any blockages in our lymph or places that it's slowing down, we don't want to all of a sudden start removing all of this lymph without it being able to freely flow to our lymph nodes. So our lymph nodes on our upper part of our body here are here, and then there's one about halfway down in here, but it's a little harder to reach. So the places that we're going to be draining to are here and then down in here. This is a major drainage area, so this is our ultimate goal when we're doing lymph drainage, to get it down in here. You can kind of feel it's kind of a sensitive area. That is where major lymph nodes are happening. So let's start with just releasing the area. First though, let's put on some cleanser. Take off my glasses. Now I'm very blind. Hopefully I don't go cross-eyed. So this is my daily cleansing oil. I really like this one. It just smells nice. I do 2 pumps when I do this treatment because I'm gonna bring it down onto my neck. And I'm probably gonna get my shirt a little oily. Sometimes that happens if you're really going for it. So if this was my nighttime first cleanse, I would do my oil cleanse for a minute before I start on my lymphatic drainage massage. But today, let's just get right into it. So spreading this oil all over. Okay, so going in with the Anma, we are going to start by just getting things flowing. So the first move that I always like to start with is just get the lymph flowing down my neck towards my drainage point. So I'm gonna start on the side of the neck, and with even pressure, but not hard. You don't want to be digging into your skin at all. We're just gonna do 6 passes right down the side of the neck. Then let's push that lymph further down into our armpit. That was 6 of each of those moves. Then let's get the other side. And bringing that down. Okay, now we've got some drainage going. Sometimes when you're doing that and you swallow at the same time, you'll actually feel there's like stuff coming down. It's kind of a gnarly feeling. So we got some blood flowing. I like to start with that as my opener, just get things starting to flow. Now we're gonna loosen up our fascia, get some blood flowing. So I'm gonna flip to the finger side of my anma, or just use your fingers, like your knuckles, and we're just gonna go like this. And remember, we're not pushing hard. We're actually gonna see my skin turn a little pink as we get blood flowing without me using very much pressure. I'm just lightly gliding over the skin, getting blood flow, massaging our facial muscles. If you're using your fingers, you're just using those knuckles, massaging along. Not digging in any way. We don't want to be digging into our skin at all with this movement. Loosen up those lip muscles. You can kind of play with these bigger fingers up on your forehead. Some people have bigger foreheads than others. I have a tiny little forehead, so it's harder to get with the fingers. This part just feels really nice. Oh, I forgot to mention one important note. When you're doing lymphatic drainage, I recommend drinking a tall glass of water before and after, because remember that hydration is very key to a healthy lymphatic system. And it will also help with your body's detoxing. So if you're loosening up a bunch of toxins, bacteria, virus that are now moving to your lymph nodes are working on killing that off. Water is very helpful for that. Okay, feeling pretty good. I think we are ready to go. Okay, so when we start doing our lymphatic drainage, I'm going to start from the top to the bottom because remember that we're getting that lymph going and it's ultimately draining down here. So by starting from the top to the bottom, it's kind of like, you know, when you're like cleaning the kitchen and you start from the top and then you do the floors last, because otherwise you end up with a bunch of dirt on the floor. That's a silly way to think about it, but it works for me. I want to start from the top, get things moving, and finish down at the bottom. So our first move is the forehead. So the forehead, I have a very small forehead, but for some people this will be more comfortable. But for the forehead, I'm just really using the upper top of this handle to drain to about here at my temple. So starting here, draining down to our temple. So I'm gonna do 6 of those. So that was 6. Now we're going to do the eye. So how I like to do this is, again, I'm using that same edge and I'm going gently over the eye. So I'm not applying pressure on my eyeball. The pressure is only hitting my eyebrow and my orbital bone. Let's do that 6 times. We'll start over because I kind of wasn't counting. So that was 6. And my skin, actually, that area is actually a little tender for me right now because I've had really bad allergies. And you'll notice that when your sinuses are clogged or you have a lot of allergies, you can be tender along these sinus areas. And that's actually really helpful to do this treatment to help start to move out that stagnation. So we did the eye. Let's go down to the cheek. So again, we're just using that handle and we're just gonna gently glide outward. So there was 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now let's move down to the lower face. I like to just hit kind of right here. So starting right at the end of the mouth. There we go. And then for the jawline, this is where this tool comes in a lot of handy, but if you don't have my tool to do your jawline, you are going to use one finger folded over like this, and then your thumb out. And you're going to cup, if you can see that, you're going to cup your jaw and lightly squeeze and pull back. Cup it, lightly squeeze and pull back. With the Anma, we're going to cup it. So we'll just on either side of your jawline and back. Let's do 6. Now we've got all this stuff coming in here, so we're gonna do one more on the neck and down. So starting just after your throat here, and out and down. Oops, I wasn't counting, oh no. Okay, I think that was 4, 5, and 6. So that movement was really just pulling up, and then just feel like, kind of picture yourself kind of gathering any lymph that's gathered and pulling it downward. So to finish this side off, let's pull any down to that major lymph node underneath our armpit. There we go. So that is that side done. Let's jump to the other side. Okay, so we're gonna start up on the forehead. And again, I just use the top part of this. Then we're gonna move to over the eye. So again, using the back across the eye like this. If that is not comfortable for you with the Anma, some folks find that with their particular eye shape, their face shape, they prefer to use these fingers. So, sorry, I should have mentioned that before, but for some people's eye shape, that is more comfortable. For my eye shape, it's more comfortable to use this edge. So that is up to you and if you have the Anma or not. So then moving on to the upper cheeks. We're gonna really make sure you're getting right into the side of your nose and pulling from there. So you don't wanna start halfway through the cheek, you wanna get right up there next to the nose and pull. So let's start. Now we're moving on to the underneath the cheek here, starting at the outside of the mouth. Oops, I wasn't counting. Oh no, I'm terrible at this. When I'm at home, I'm sure I do crazy numbers. If you're one off, your body won't mind. Your body's not counting. Okay, so let's get that jawline. Again, if you're using your fingers, just tuck up, squeeze, and pull up. I'm gonna use the Anma. And then now let's get that really nice, this is one of my favorite movements, kind of starting right about here and coming up and pulling that lymph downward. If you have a tense neck, that feels so good. If you have a tense neck, this is just so lovely for it. So then let's do our final drain down to our major lymph node. And you can be really gentle over this bone. If anything, I'm kind of lightening pressure a little bit when I go up and over my bone. You don't have to dig in and hurt yourself. So that was it. So now if you want to, you can kind of loosen up any fascia on your chest. I have a bony chest, so this isn't the most comfortable, but Gina really likes to do this. So kind of getting that blood flowing on your chest. Everything is really flowing. If you have concerns with a lot of tension around your lip lines, this is when you can go and you can just do a little release around your lip lines. But really, we've completed our treatment. So sometimes people will say, well, that was way too much for a nightly routine. I do this probably every other day, but if you want to simplify this routine, you just want it to be a simple routine, you can either kind of do less, well, actually, yeah, you can do less movements for each one. So you would do 3 to 4 passes instead of the full 6 if you just want to do a light little treatment, or you can just make sure you're hitting the major areas, which is draining here, draining across the eyes, draining the cheeks, and then getting that jaw and neck. So if you want to really simplify, just get in there, drain the eyes, drain these across the cheeks, get that jaw. You do that move where you go across the jaw and then down, and that's going to really create a difference as well. That's still a totally doable routine that'll work well for you. We got a lot of blood flowing. I'm probably a little pink, and that is good. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients, which is amazing for our skin cells and our just collagen. Everything loves that. Okay, I'm just gonna dry my face off. I feel very relaxed right now. That's usually part of my nighttime routine, so my body is like, okay, yeah, that was our nighttime routine. I'm very relaxed now. Please reach out to our customer service team. We have a live chat on our website from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. But if you reach out outside of that window, you can email us. It is glow@artofskincare.com. And we love to answer your guys' questions and help you guys. So please reach out if you have questions, but happy lymphatic drainage.